Hello everyone, welcome to some Forza Motorsport 7. Recently they added the race regulations beta for the public. This has been something that they wanted to do for quite some time. It's been heavily requested within the community to add racing regulations. So I thought I'd jump into the world of Forza Motorsport 7 online lobbies and play about with them. I haven't played Motorsport 7 in quite some time, so I apologise in advance for some shoddy gear changes, maybe the odd apex missed here or there, and some apocalyptic braking. Anyway, we are currently at Watkins Glen, starting in 4th position. I had an appalling start as we come up to the first corner. Now, these racing regulations are meant to, I'm guessing, clean up the races, which, as we can see into turn 1, hasn't quite helped that just yet. I think there's still a fair few issues with the game in regards to cleaning up the lobbies, but I digress. This is the cycled production, so they give you a car and you race with it. I really like this. I think it's nice to have a fair playing field and everyone be in the same car, especially in a slower kind of car like the Type R. I say slow, slower type of car. Type R is not exactly a slouch, doing 140 nearly. But I prefer the lower end car classes more so than the supercars. I find the racing to be so much more enjoyable. So I've dropped down into 7th place, which is a little bit annoying, but I find myself throughout this race to have some really good racing moments. There's some clips that I'll show later on in the video which demonstrate the issues with this new feature. So towards the front of the pack, I'm currently in 6th. I find that the racing, usually on multiplayer lobbies, towards the front can be quite clean anyway. You usually manage to get the better drivers at the front. However, sometimes you do get those stuck at the back and they get crashed into by rammers. It's rather annoying. Anyway, we're cutting towards lap 3 now. I've gotten to know the track a bit and back to normal. And what I was going to say about the good racing is you'll see here I have a really good race with a few of these guys in front of me. I believe ELN Gadget I have a good little battle with. I think someone from behind possibly as well. Mr. Racing FCT, which stands for I will censor bleep that. What he is an interesting one, because at first I thought he was a good driver, but towards the end you will see him go for a rather daring dive, which is a bit scary. We'll see that later on. Actually, on this corner, to be fair. Anyway, so we're a lap again forward. I've managed to overtake Mr. Gadget. As you see, he's trying to get round the outside of me. I'm giving him space, trying to block the inside. End up going a bit wide, so he does the cutback, gets me back on the inside. Fair enough, fine overtake. I've also got a penalty of 3 seconds. I believe that's from going wide on the first corner. Everyone does that at Watkins Glen. Everyone goes wide on this first turn. So we're going up to the first turn on the final lap. 3 wide, I'm braking early in hopes that they go a bit wide. They do. And in doing so, I managed to gain my position back from Mr. Gadget. And I'm now trying to comfortably hold that position, ready to go on my attack for FCT Racing. So as I was saying earlier about the apocalyptic dive, Mr. Racing in front of me, he gets his line quite nice around this bend, and he's obviously attacking and pushing for 3rd. I don't know what the guy's name is, but as you see here, he gets completely taken out. I then manage to regain my 4th starting position. I also temporarily get 3rd. However, due to seeing that previous overtake from Mr. Racing, I am more than generous enough to give him plenty of room and just let him have 3rd, because I'm not too bothered. He's also got a penalty of 10 seconds as we go into the final corner to eventually cross the line. Now, this is where the penalty times come into play. I believe in Gran Turismo Sport you can slow down and serve your penalty time within the race. This just gets added on to your final time. So you can see that it says 4th position, however it's now 5th, because it's added on my times and it's accumulated everyone else's times as well. It's a little bit confusing, for me at first at least. I'm not very good with numbers, but it makes sense. Next race was Sonoma. This was in the Ford RS200. Everyone obviously was in this car, and there were a few issues this race. The first one came at the beginning, all thanks to not me, but the game itself. So we've just faded to black. Still in black. Still... no, we're racing! We're off! Oh, that's a surprise. Yeah, got no counting on that one, so that was... that came as a bit of a shock. That's actually how they start F1 races. They blindfold the drivers, make them unconscious, and then when they regain consciousness, off they go, and they race for 50-odd laps. That's a very true fact. Anyway, racing with Crust 007 once again. We did start, I believe, in 4th. We're now in 7th. We did get knocked down to 10th, I believe, earlier on, but we are gaining places as we get rammed up the backside by DJU. Yeah, some of these gamertag names are just ridiculous. This race, there is a slight issue on, I think, my behalf. I do get rewarded. I said rewarded if it's a good thing. I do get given a time penalty of, I believe it's 5 seconds, as someone in the distance goes for a little spin. The issue is with these race regulations is that it's obviously in beta and it's got issues, and that's kind of why I'm making this video, is to try and find out what these issues are. I believe Super GT did a video where he cut all the corners of Monza and won because everyone else DNF'd. So maybe they should implement a system in which you get over a certain amount of time penalties and you are then like disqualified. But they need to make them more, if anything, precise, as I slightly crash into the back of the Z-Dog 001 as he goes off to cut the grass. As I was saying, this system can't yet really justify certain things. So what you're going to see here is there's a crash straight ahead. I am already going for the driving line. I go for a dive, have to cut the corner. That was to minimise the contact and the collision, and I get rewarded 5 seconds. Do I deserve a penalty? Yes, I think I do. Do I deserve 5 seconds? That's where I think it's debatable. I would like to know your comments into the comment section down below as to whether or not I'm overreacting, whether or not that is justified. But that's kind of what I want to show off with this system. And then, as you can see here, the racing is as Forza as ever. You do get some good battles, but that's probably because of the good drivers. The system needs to be made to a point in which the bad drivers, in the sense that they are actively driving badly and they're not driving in the sense of that they're not racing properly, they need to be either taught, educated, or they just need to go into their own races, because that's kind of what ruins hoppers. It's difficult to jump online and have a good race, and if you do, you need to make a private lobby. Granted, this battle was actually quite interesting with the two guys in front. So we finished that race in 4th position. Then we've obviously got the timings to be played about with. I believe I end up in 5th. I was 7th there for a second as I bounced back up, losing 1 position, whilst the leaderboard underneath flashes next to Furious Spark as he is constantly going down 1. No idea why. Anyway, let's move on to the final race of the video. So, final track of the video is going to be Road America. It's the alternative route on the west side of the track. That's where all the gangsters and all that live. We're going to be in the Buick Regal GNX 420. Suitable for the day that this video was recorded, actually. That might give you an idea of how slow it takes me to make content. But never mind. Regardless of that, we've actually got working camera angles this time and a proper countdown. So no just random black screen and then being thrown into the race. So we're off, starting off in 7th position. We've got Crust in front of us, and we've got Mr. Keyboard smashing the letter O. Anyway, trying to get used to the car, I buggered up one of the gears, I lost a position. That's fine. What isn't fine is the amount of cars behind me. It's absolutely terrifying. I do end up losing a few positions. Now, going back to, obviously, the race regulations, which is the main topic for this video, I can't really see that helping clear up kind of contact, which is the main issue that I had in this race. The only problem is if you're pushed off the track via another driver and you have nowhere else to go, and you keep your position, the game will probably think that you're cutting that corner and getting an advantage. So I'm getting completely beaten up here as we go up under the bridge to the blind left-hander. Now, coming up shortly, you will see that I have a bit of an issue in the sense that I am completely blocked out from turning left. So I go on the inside here, And then we've got, what's this, Apex Crash with a capital H and Mr. Nismo. I'm on the outside. I'm ahead of them. I brake early. They don't brake. I get shunted off the track. Now, I don't gain any positions. In fact, I lose and I go down to 13th. And I don't get a penalty. Mainly because there was no advantage gained by myself. However, if I had gained an advantage, that wouldn't have been my fault because I was knocked off the track. I didn't choose to do that. This is what I'm trying to say. This is how the system can be improved. Again, I know this isn't beta. I'm purely just trying to provide feedback. So, trying to regain my positions, I try and go into the inside of crust, which works, and then HAR05 goes wide, and I managed to make up 2 positions around 1 corner. Very happy with that. What I didn't know is I actually started 7th this race, so I'm rather happy with the result that I ended up with in the end. I believe I gained a position. So there he is, HAR05. That there was apparently a corner cut, and I got a 2nd for that. Okay, I'll admit, I cut the corner, but again, I do feel like a 2nd is a little bit much for that. Am I over-exaggerating? Is that reasonable? I do feel like smaller increments of time penalties should be added to the game, as once again I go for a double overtake around a corner. I'm getting quite good at these. I'm like Daniel Ricciardo, except I'm not Australian, good looking, or a good racing driver in any way, shape or form. But that is going to be, I think, the end of lap 3. Cutting back now a lap ahead in lap 4, the final lap. Back in the position that I started in, but I'm hungry for more. I see 6th place, and I think I'm going to go for a dive on... Actually, no, I don't go for a dive. I think I just stick to the line and try and get a better corner than he does, as he goes a little bit wide. So I managed to get 6th position as we come up to the final corner. Race ending in 40 seconds, so Mr. I'm going to cut all the corners and try to DNF everyone's tactic didn't seem to work very well around this track. I know the guy behind me's got a 5-second penalty, so my 1-second penalty shouldn't affect me too bad. So I finished 6th, but the time needs to be totted up and accumulated. Look at me using these words. And I end up finishing in 4th. I go up 2 positions. So even better than what I anticipated. So there we go. This is, again, a new style of video. I'm not really used to doing post-commentary. I usually do live gameplay. If you would like to see me do more stuff like this, then do let me know down below. Thank you very much for all your support and everything. It's great to be back on the channel again, so make sure you click subscribe and click that notification bell, because YouTube doesn't notify you unless you click that bell. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, adios.